I'd like you to take a trip with me into our past, our far past. Imagine our earliest ancestors gathered around the evening fire. For yes, they had discovered fire sometime before and had learned how to use it for warmth, for cooking, and as a gathering place for their small clan at the end of their hard-scrabble days. I often think about these distant forebears and what they talked about around the fire. Perhaps they relived the day's hunt of chasing wild animals and killing the one that was roasting even then on the flames. Yes, I am a vegetarian, but these are the realities of life before we had the luxury of choice. At first, they must have used stones, throwing with all the skill they could develop, hoping one of their uncertain projectiles might actually hit the mark and be lethal enough to fell the animal. The hunt became considerably more productive when they discovered that some rocks, when struck a certain way, formed a sharp killing edge. As long as they could chase down the animal, jump it, get close enough to plunge the blade into its veins or heart, they might have enough food for that night. Then, someone figured out how to attach those sharp blades to small tree limbs, and everything changed. With these primitive spears, they no longer had to expend that energy chasing their prey or throw themselves into hand-to-paw combat. Instead, they learned to form coordinated groups surrounding the animal, which certainly must have translated into other innovative ways of cooperating as a social group. But the immediate result was that hunting as a group with spears allowed them to kill even larger animals more efficiently and to butcher enough meat and fat to not only replace the calories that they had used up in the hunt, but also to feed their families and maybe even have some leftovers for the next week. Those food surpluses led to having the time to explore other areas of creative special growth. So, I picture these hunters sitting around the fire, enjoying their barbecued mastodon or woolly mammoth, swapping stories about the hunt and the kill. Did they dress their tales up with prideful boasts about their own prowess, or how their eldest child was the favorite of the spirits who ruled the natural world? Did they expound on how they discovered that a certain technique of throwing, using their hips to pivot with the thrust, made the spear fly faster, harder, truer? Or were there stories about the dangers they had faced and how they had earned the scars that they now carried? Perhaps a wounded saber-toothed tiger had pawed the ground, snorting and growling, readying its attack as it eyed one particular hunter, a man who stood a bit too tall, too aggressively, and it leapt, fangs bared, claws extended, raking the man's chest before his companions could come to his rescue. If he hadn't grabbed that flint knife from his belt and buried it in the cat's heart, the animal would certainly have ripped out his throat. Instead, the man was now chewing on a delicious roasted haunch. What was the purpose of such storytelling among our primitive ancestors? Certainly a part of it was educational, helping one another to understand and hone the skills they needed for survival. Another aspect may have been problem solving, providing a way to discuss and brainstorm fresh ideas to improve the next day's hunt. But then, after the young had learned the important lessons of the stories, and the elders' hunting techniques were fine-tuned, the stories continued and were even memorialized on cave walls. Painting with berry juice and bark residue and all other manner of natural pigments, they affixed the tales of their days and of their dreams to rock, so that even now we can see them and try to understand what they thought, how they lived, what they sought, needed, dreamed, hoped. Storytelling. It's hardwired into human nature. But why? I believe it's because the creative instinct is as much a part of the human genome as the instinct to procreate. It's what led our ancestors to find and experiment with rock, flint, and throwing sticks. It's also how they learned to work as a group, to develop their skills, not only with hunting, but with cooking, gathering, textiles, and yes, with storytelling as a teaching and learning tool. In other words, creativity was essential to our survival and growth as a species. Creativity isn't about writing books or making pictures. That has more to do with skill, talent, lots of hard work, stubbornness, and professional acumen. Creativity is the ability to discover innovative ways of thinking or doing, to use the human connection with other individuals as a path to carry us all in different directions toward greater potentials. Creativity requires that we be flexible and be open to having others possibly poke holes in our work and our thoughts, and then to strive with them to synthesize solutions that neither of us might have unearthed separately. I'll add one more essential ingredient to the mix. Human creativity requires just enough irrationality to see each wall that blocks our way, each mistake we make, as a stepping stone to discovering greater heights. I have faith in our innate need to be creative. It's what has fueled our progress from the Stone Age to the digital age, and will shape our future. Evolution endowed us with a creativity gene to ensure our survival, so that we will continue to explore, reach beyond, and thereby change and grow. I'll go even further to more practical matters. I believe continued creative thinking is paramount to our survival as a culture, a country, and a healthy economy.